Hey guys, thanks for taking the time to watch this. Again, this is just a video for review purposes for your quiz tomorrow. I'm not going to check to see who watched it or grade you on it or anything, okay? This is just for your benefit here. Let's just go ahead and get started, okay? Okay, so first thing I want to clear up is the difference between a positive and a negative number, okay? Because if you don't know that, then you don't really have anywhere to start. Okay, so first we've got 0 on a number line. All the numbers to the right of 0 on a number line are positive numbers. All the numbers to the left of 0 on a number line are negative. Okay, it's always going to be that way. Okay, again, it goes 1, 2, 3. You just count like normal, and you count like normal the opposite direction over here. So we got -1, -2, -3. Okay? Alright, once you get that down, then you can start using number lines to solve problems, okay? So I'll just give you an example of one. First thing we did was added positive and negative numbers, okay? So let's just say we have 5 plus 5, okay? Well, on a number line, we're going to start at 5. If we went 1 more, we'd be at 6. If we went 2 more, we'd be at 7. 3 more, we'd be at 8. 4 more, 9. And if we went 5 to the right, we end up at 10. Okay, that's 5 plus 5. Alright, you guys have been doing that since like kindergarten, okay? So you're used to that, okay? But what happens if we start at 5 and we add -5, okay? We're on our number line again. Well, instead of adding 5 to 5, we're still going to start at 5, okay? And we are going to add -5, which means if we usually go this way for +5, we're going to add negatives, which means we're actually going in the opposite direction. So we'd have 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, okay? So we'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would start at 5 and we would go 5 in the opposite direction. We're adding that -5 and we'd end up at 0. Okay? So this answer would be 0. Okay. Now what if we have a negative number that's bigger than our original? So say we start at 5 again. Okay? And then say we add -7. Alright, I told you a few different ways of looking at this. We're going to start with a number line, okay? We could say we start at 5. And we're going to add negatives, which means we're going this direction, okay? So how many are we going to go this direction? Well, we're going to go 7 to the negative side. We're giving 7 negatives to this 5. Okay, so to get to 0, how many did we have to go back? Well, we went back 5 to get to 0, right? Well, how many more do we have to go back? We're going -7, not -5. So we got to go 2 more in the negative direction. Okay? And we end up at -2. Okay? So we started at 5. We went 7 total. -5 and -2 to get to -2. Okay? So this answer would be -2 based on that. Another way I told you to look at it is I said you got tug of war and you got a line. You got your flag at 0, team positives over here, team negatives over here, and they're fighting it out if you're adding, okay? So here we look at what do we have more of? Well, do we have +5, so team positive here would have 5. Team negative here would have 7. Well, who would win in this tug of war if everybody had the same amount of strength? Don't know what ifs on the amount of strength each person had, okay? Well, the negative team would win, right? Team negative would win. How much would they win by? Well, they have 2 more people. They'd win by 2 people, right? You still get that same answer of 2. Okay? Another thing, adding a negative is the same as subtracting a positive. So you could look at it as 5 minus 7. 5 minus 7, again, on a number line or anything, if you go 5 and you take away 7, you pass 0 and you still get to -2. Okay, there's 3 different ways of looking at that. Okay. So next one. We started subtracting numbers. Okay, so if we had 3 minus 2, we know that's 1, right? We've known that since kindergarten as well, or somewhere around there. Okay? Now, this can also be written, remember, you can rewrite a subtraction problem as an addition if you add the opposite. We're subtracting positive 2. Here we're adding negative 2. We're adding the opposite. Okay, now you can look at it as tug of war again. Well, we've got the flag in the middle. Team positive on this side, team negative on this side. Team positive's got 3, team negative's got 2. Okay? Team positive's going to win, right? Well, how many people are they going to win by? 1 person. Same answer, right? In either situation. Okay? Now what happens if you're taking away a bigger number than you started with? So say you got 3 minus 8. Okay? Well, now you got 3 and you're going 8 in the negative direction. Another way you can write this is you add the opposite. 3 plus negative 8. Well, if you're adding that negative 8 to 3, what do you have more of again? You got team positive and team negative. Who's got more, team negative or team positive? Team negative does. How many more do they have? They've got 5 more, right? Same answer here. 5. Okay? So that's just another way to rewrite it. If you see it like this and you want to use a number line or whatever, that's fine, okay? You can start at 3, go 8 in the negative direction, just shorthanding this number line, okay? And you will end up at negative 5 still, okay? Okay. Another thing we looked at that I showed you guys today in class, okay? If you have a little negative number and you take away a big negative, what's really going to happen here? Remember, you can add the opposite, okay? So you still have that little negative number, and we're going to add the opposite, a big positive, okay? We got big negative, the opposite would be a big positive. Well, what outweighs what here? Does the positive outweigh the negative? Yes, it does. So what's your number going to end up as? You're going to have a positive number there, okay? Separate example, what if we had a big negative and we take away a small negative? Well, we can add the opposite again, right? Big negative plus small positive. What outweighs what here? Your answer would end up being negative, okay? Okay, again, like I'm flying through this, but you guys can replay this stuff as much as you want, okay? You can stop it and go back whenever you need to. I'm just trying to fit everything in 15 minutes here, okay? So, I'm going to go over an example in your book, actually. If you have your book with you, great. You can turn to page 23 in your book, and this example has to do with golf, okay? So, we've been putt-putting, so this would be good to use as an example anyway, okay? So, in this golf example, we got a table. Good Lord. Let me try that again. Okay, we got a table. And in this table, we've got golfers and we've got scores, okay? Okay, and it says, in golf, each hole has a score called par, where they hit the same number of strokes they need to, okay? Scores under par are represented by negative numbers. The table shows golf scores for team members of a golf tournament. Their total score, we'll write this off to the side, total score is a negative 32, a minus 32, okay? And there's 3 people playing. So we've got this, I'm not going to write the names down, but we got 3 golfers, okay? First golfer's score was negative 9. Okay. Next golfer's score was negative 15. It asks, for their total score to be negative 32, what does the third golfer's score need to be? Okay. So you know that golfer number 1 plus golfer number 2 plus golfer number 3 scores has to equal their total score, right? That's just anything, really. all three of their scores as a team becomes their total score. Okay, well, what was golfer number 1's score? Golfer number 1's score was -9. Golfer number 2's score was -15. We don't know golfer number 3's score, so we'll just put a question mark there for now. We do know their total score is -32, though. Okay? So what do we know the team's total score without golfer number 3 is so far? Well, we've got -9 plus -15. Now, this is one of those examples I showed you where adding two negatives together makes a bigger negative, right? You're adding a negative with another negative, you're going to get even more of a negative. So what is 9 plus 15 normally? 9 plus 15 would be 24, and we know it's negative because you're adding a negative with a negative, you're going to get a bigger negative. You're going to get 24 as a negative. So 24 plus some number gets you -32. -24 plus some number, sorry. Okay? Well, if we're at -24 and we got to get to an even bigger negative, what do we know this third golfer's score needs to be? It also needs to be negative, right? Okay. So, -24 plus how many negatives gets you to -32? Well, you can count it out on your hands and on your fingers if you want, okay? You could say -24, -25, -26, -27, -28, -29. Okay, there's 5, -30, -31, -32. That would be 8. Okay, so that third golfer's score needs to be a -8, and you get a total of -32. So golfer number 3's score needs to be a -8. Again, if you add all three of these together, you will get to a total score of -32. Okay? Now, what if we had golfer number 1's score as a -9, golfer number 2's score as a -15. We don't know golfer number 3's score, but we know the final score is, we'll say, a -20. Okay? Again, these two guys' scores together is at -24. -24 plus some number needs to get us to -20. Well, we're even less negative over here than we started, right? So this person actually did bad in golf in this case, okay? So you can pause the video here and think about it yourself if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the answer after you work it out on your own, or you can just watch, okay? So we got -24 plus some number equals -20. We're less negative here, okay? So if we took -24 and we just tried something, plus, say, -4. Well, we've got a -24, we're adding another -4, we get to -28 there. That's not what we want. Okay, so let's try the other direction. -24 plus 4. Sorry, they had an announcement there. I didn't want it to drown out my voice. We have -24, and we're going to do plus 4 instead. Okay, well, what is -24 plus 4? Okay, we can weigh positives and negatives. What do we have more of here? We got more of the negatives. How many more? We've got 20 more of the negatives, which is the score we want. So this third golfer in this case would actually have a score of +4, which is bad in golf, okay? You don't want that. So in this situation, they had somebody on the team that wasn't as good. Okay, hopefully this helped a little bit. Again, tomorrow before the quiz, we'll go over any last-minute questions you had. We'll try to review real quick before it. Any questions you have on any of your homework you've had so far, look through your homework pages you've done and see if there's any questions you have. If you do, bring them to class. That's the first thing we'll do tomorrow if you have questions. All right, let me know right off the bat. All right, again, thanks for watching this. I appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. It's really going to help you in the long run doing these things, okay? And for those of you that complain about my 5s, yes, I made a lot of those problems have 5s in them on purpose just to drive you nuts. All right, thanks, guys. Good luck tomorrow.